Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, and I'm here with a review of the Dragoness Command of the Flame on Xbox. Now, this was developed by Crazy Goat Games, published by PQube, who were kind enough to send me a copy to do this review, so big thank you to them for that. And the game was released on the 10th of August 2023 for Xbox Series X and S consoles. Now, this is an adventure game inspired by classic games like Heroes of Might and Magic, but with a roguelike twist. So this game takes place in this ravaged sort of fantasy world, destroyed basically by dragon factions that have been at war. You play this promising elf warrior who is now the commander of the Dragoness, like the Dragon Queen's army, and it's up to you to lead her armies to bring peace to the land. Now, the story is very mundane, very basic for a fantasy game straight out of the gate, but it does get better as you progress. You meet new characters and stuff like that. And the game features a whole host of things. So you have a slimmed down sort of city building mechanic. You have a turn-based, tile-based combat system, and you have like these sections where you have to explore a variety of environments in a sort of turn-based manner. Now, this game is a tale of two halves. At times, it is absolutely fantastic, and at other times, it just bursts with mediocrity, and that is the downside of this game. Now, this isn't a AAA game. The game is priced at £16.99, so this is an indie game through and through. So what they've done with it is fantastic. So I don't want to like put a down on the game at all. Like I say, it features quite a lot of positives. So it's got a huge campaign. You're looking at about 30 plus hours to get through it. There's 16 like epic quests to get through. Each of them have their own sort of objectives and stuff like that they have to deal with across this full campaign. You also have voice acting throughout the game. At times it's fantastic. They've done a great job of it. But then you meet some characters and their voice acting is just a little bit iffy for me. And that's a shame. Graphically, at times the game looks fantastic. And then other times it just looks a little rough around the edges. But I do like the hand-drawn character art and everything. The detail on them is fantastic. When you're in the town looks really great, and the characters and everything are really detailed and stuff like that. When you're in the battle phase, though, the characters don't look that great because you're from like a zoomed-out perspective. So it does definitely look better when you're sort of seeing it at its full glory. Now, gameplay-wise, like I say, it obviously features a turn-based, tile-based combat mechanic, and you're probably going, well, what's the rogueliteness to it? Well, at the end of each completed mission, and this is a weird one, it kills you off. You basically get into a fight, you cannot win, and it kills your character off. And you're then resurrected, very much like other roguelites, and you have to basically start again, but with extra improved abilities based on what you had previously. Now, I don't mind that because it makes sense story-wise and stuff like that, but it does kind of take the point out of keeping yourself alive because you know at the end of each mission you're gonna die. And also, if you build up a big army, you're then starting from scratch with a little army, and I feel like they could have done that mechanic a little bit better and made it sort of gel, sort of to make it less jarring at the end of each mission that you basically it wipes away the majority of your progress. Now, one thing I did like was the map design of the sort of exploration sections. You can roam around taking, like, you've got limited steps you can take each turn. There are sort of resources to mine which can be spent on new like soldiers in your army. There are treasure chests and secrets to find. There are enemies to fight and like side quests to pick up and stuff like that to sort of progress through the main story. And I thought these were really well. They look great, very detailed and stuff like that. The little side battles to get your XP up were nice as well. And there's also a ton of variation to the enemy designs and the unit variety that you have in your army. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, but there's like over 40 different units that you're able to put into your army, which I think is fantastic. The combat itself at times is great, but at times can be very slow and monotonous, especially earlier on where you're just sort of firing bows and arrows from a distance, not really moving around the board, and just sort of trying to kill your enemies bit by bit with pop shots. Obviously, this all gets changed up when you have magical abilities, which you'll slowly but surely unlock as you're playing. And you can get these from like buildings on the sort of exploration zones. They really make the combat much more fun and fast-paced. But like I say, every time you die, you have to restart. So it then starts that slow plod back to being a really fun game. Every single time you have to start a new quest, basically. Now, I don't want to make people feel like the game is rubbish. It's not at all. It's very, very enjoyable. There's a ton of content to this. It's a big, beefy game with hours and hours and hours of enjoyment to be had if you're into this sort of Heroes of Might and Magic style of gameplay. It's just let down a little bit by the few nagging bugs like the UI and slightly poor performance here and there, to say this is especially a next-gen only release. And obviously the sort of repetitive gameplay, but that becomes normal because they've gone with that roguelite twist, and that's the only way to sort of implement it. But I highly recommend it if you like your fantasy settings, you like the turn-based style gameplay and everything. For just over £15, you're on for a winner there. You're going to get a ton of content out of it for a great price. So hit that like button, hit subscribe, check out our other content, leave a comment down below what do you think of this game. Like I say, I think it shows a lot of promise, and there's a lot of strategy to it, which is great. I love games with strategy and sort of army gathering, like gathering up your resources to build your army and then combining your troops to make them stronger and stuff like that. I enjoy that side of it. I just feel like it just misses being great, and that's the shame about it. But Crazy Goat Games have done a great job with it, and I look forward to seeing what they do next, if they do something similar and if they improve on it going forward. But that's that for this video, guys. Hit that like button, and we'll see you soon for more content. Bye for now.